Today we are talking about boredom and how to use your phone less in those moments where you just have it. It's so easy to check and we're all addicted. And so today we're going over strategies and science-backed research that can tap into like your psychology and your environment to make you much less addicted to your phone if you feel like you struggle from your relationship with it. This is coming off an episode that's coming out on ASAP Science around like mind wandering and zoning out and how there are actually so many benefits, but so few of us get them because the second we're bored these days, we can just like open our phone quickly, or the second we're anxious, like people even at like I'm so nervous waiting at a crosswalk, right? Like a lot of people will open up their phone because they can't wait 10 seconds, me included. But I think that cycle then perpetuates itself in all of your life. And so honestly, like working on this podcast episode, I was like, this is the most important episode we've done in a long time. Not like most important, but most relevant, where I was like, I actually have found these sort of tips super enlightening. I know we've touched on this before.
Oh yeah, we touch on this every month.
But it's nice to then like kind of conglomerate it all into one thing. And I started being like, maybe we should make a full ASAP Science about this as well, just because if I feel so like happy to have some of these strategies and try to start implementing them, I'm sure other people will as well. So hopefully today's podcast episode will be interesting.
Your video is about the importance of zoning out.
Yeah, totally. And in multiple different ways. I'm sure many people who are going to come watch this podcast are coming from that video as well. So hopefully this is on top of that going to help us all like mind wander and zone out more, which is really good for you. So if you haven't seen that video, it's not out while we're recording this, but it should be out soon. Go check that out.
So a new study found that people spend a quarter of their waking hours on their phone.
Wow.
Which... Good God, I'm like, is mine more than that? I can't. Ugh. And that there was another study that found people feel deep anxiety when they don't have the weight of their phone in their pocket.
That is actually a scary thing I've realized, because I do a lot of like phone wallet key checks, but obviously phone check, even when I'm like gonna go upstairs or downstairs in my own house, it's like a quick tap for phone. And if
you do phone check per floor?
Not like in a way that's as conscious as when I leave the house, where I'm like, I need my keys, I need my wallet, I need my phone. But I notice sometimes I won't go to another floor if I don't have my phone. Like I'll look for it where I was and then go to a different floor, which is...
I didn't realize that in 2024, brain rot was voted the Oxford word of the year.
I said that on a podcast.
Well, I guess I wasn't listening because I had brain rot.
Like literally like 1 month ago.
That's also 2 words.
Yeah, I'm sure you said.
Is it
the
hyphenated?
Oh god!
Oh god!
Speaking of brain rot,
I'm just going over some of the sort of examples of how we are all in the same boat. And actually, I didn't know about this, but in January in California, Meta's Instagram and Facebook, ByteDance's TikTok, Alphabet's YouTube, and Snapchat will face a series of trials to testify in court about whether they cause addiction and whether they create suffering. And if they lose, they could face billions in fines and be forced to change how children use the platforms.
Yeah, I mean,
that
I especially, like, because I'm having nieces and nephews like get to the age where they are using phones and have access to social media. I am often just like, wow, if this does this to my brain, like how does this affect someone so young and how they develop and just like the way they feel about the world and themselves, and it is so stressful.
But one person I was listening to who was a professor at the University of Bath was talking about how we are able to now understand the impact of these and talk about them and be aware of them in a way, and that in fact us as millennials and even like Gen X and boomers going from not knowing and then in 2007 getting them, it could be the worst for us.
Because why?
Because his hope, and it's like a lot of my research came from studies that he has been using to help people understand literally this podcast, like people being on the other end of the internet and being like, our phones are causing issues. Let's create like hygiene around our phones. Like, how do we actually talk about how impactful these things are, whereas we didn't have that. Mm-hmm. We got it in 2007. We were like, fun, a phone. And then we had the whole 10 years of it's going to save everything.
Yeah, like, that's true.
We might actually suffer the most if we can explain these things properly and get it somehow figured out.
Okay, well, for all the other millennials and Gen X and boomers out there with us, we're here to help. I want to start with 2 quick studies we have actually covered before, but I think they're like really good primers for how to think about this. One is something you've talked about a bunch, which is like active versus versus passive use.
Yeah.
Because passive use, which is like just scrolling mindlessly and just like consuming, is more correlated with envy, like mood tracking downward, depression, anxiety, versus like active use where you're more like posting or going on to do something very specific.
Or
is
commenting, they said. Commenting,
like
sending memes.
engaging. Yeah. And so I think it is like always important to remember, like it's the way you use the tool. Obviously, like all these companies are designing them in ways to hook us, but reminding yourself it's not like so black or white all the time. You can still use it in a positive way.
Post and ghost. That's
Exactly.
Was from one of the studies in the discussion section. They're like, it's known as posting and ghosting, which is going on, posting and ghosting. I mean, it is a little odd. I think the hardest part about that is then you want to go check and see how it did.
Yeah.
How many likes you getting?
I know there's so many memes that are just like me looking at my own Instagram stories, and it's just people like so fondly watching their own stories.
But I do feel like I've kind of fallen off of that. Like I used to post all the time. I've kind of stopped posting in an attempt to use my phone less, but then now I'm like, am I
just passive
now?
Okay. And the other primer, this is actually a study from 2025 that's done by the University of Toronto. We probably heard this in the news. People who use social media or digital media to escape boredom in particular end up feeling more bored and less satisfied.
Yeah.
So like it's this idea that if you're constantly switching, at least this is the hypothesis of the study, like going between videos and posts actually prevents your brain from ever really engaging in something deeply, and as a result you never alleviate the boredom, because to be not bored you need to have like a meaningful connection to the thing you're doing.
To something,
not just like a quick. You're never actually satiating that desire to feel something else.
Totally.
So I think I just wanted to say those studies up front because it's like important to have context. Like those aren't tips to stop, but it's like if you remember, actually, if you're trying to not be bored, your phone isn't helping you. No. Your social media isn't helping you. That I think in and of itself can be helpful.
This was another study, but from 2020 on 48 smartphone users aged 18 to 30. So they were divided into two groups, and using the smartphone addiction inventory, there were the people who were considered addicted to their phones and those who weren't. And those who were quote unquote addicted had lower gray matter in certain parts of the brain, the left anterior insula, the left inferior temporal lobe, and the parahippocampal cortex. All of those areas of the brain had less gray matter. They're broadly associated with self-regulation. So therefore, there could be a feedback loop of the more you use your phone, the harder it is to resist temptation, which I think is like, okay, there is an active, like physiological positive response to trying to do what we're going to talk about today, because there is a feedback loop of the more you're on your phone, it changes your brain to want to go on your phone more. And I think sometimes you need a little bit of like, why am I doing this again? It's like, oh yeah, because you want your brain.
You have to like literally
cleanse itself.
Yeah, you have to retrain your brain so that its automated responses will be different. Yeah. Which like we struggle with so much, and it's like it is this cycle of like you start to do it, you last for a week or two, and then you fall back. And I think it is also important to remember like that is just going to be constant. Yeah. Like anyone, not that I'm trying to compare it as extreme as like addictions, but anyone who suffers from addiction knows like you can fall off and you need to just get back on, and you can't let that discourage you just because you like started scrolling mindlessly again and got into a loop where you break these habits that we're going to talk about.
There is a division in the literature for sure about whether or not your phone is causing addiction.
Fair. Yeah. To be clear, like that is, I mean, similar to like problematic porn use. Like there's a lot of controversy. Maybe controversy is not the right word, but using the term addiction always is a little controversial, especially when we have things like substance addictions, which we can so clearly see and mark through chemistry. Regardless, I think we all know we're struggling.
One concept I found interesting is from this guy named Pete Etchells, a professor of psychology, who was trying to push away from the addiction framework, the fact that we go, oh, I'm addicted to my phone. Oh, I'm so addicted to my phone, because it disempowers people away from being able to like actually take autonomy around their phone. Okay. When they like blame the addiction.
It's like, I'm just addicted. There's nothing that can be done.
And you like blame Instagram and then you just like go on it. Yeah. So he was saying that it's important to have autonomy and that it will always be effortful and difficult to deal with this, but we do have the power, and that it's not fixed. And that he actually thinks that we need to shy away from the addiction framework. And then I'll talk more about his other approaches, like if we want to start talking about how to actually
For sure.
deal with
I
this.
know we probably set this up differently, and so we'll probably just end up going back and forth sharing like interesting studies and tactics. Mine I split up into like 3 categories of like techniques.
Yeah, I want to hear them.
The 3 are like environmental design, so things you like change around you to help you and support you. Cognitive tools, so like ways to specifically think about it, and strategies that are like mental, and then mindfulness strategies, so like what to do in those moments of feeling the boredom, feeling the anxiety, and like how to practice mindfulness. And some of these might sound cheesy, and I had moments where some of these tactics I was like, ugh, you hear them and it's kind of like, am I gonna do that? But I still think it's worth sharing
Like
them
brick, or what's the thing? Brick. Everyone keeps talking about brick.
I don't know what that is.
Wait, oh shit, is that what it's called?
What do you
I'm
mean?
like bricks. I'm not talking about like Brazil, Russia, and like
No, I know.
China.
I'm not sure.
I think it's
what
like
you're
an
referencing.
app or something.
Oh, like to help you
keep
control.
talking about your environmental design. I want to look this
Okay,
up.
I'll start with environmental design, and obviously this is like literally trying not to rely on your willpower, because like it is so hard to just try and constantly be like, today I'm not gonna like look at my phone as much, and it's creating an environment where you can be more successful because of the way you set up. It's like similar to keys, phone, wallet. Like I always put my keys in the same bag or like coat pocket, and as a result I don't have to keep asking myself like, where are my keys, where did I lose them? You create an environment and a structure where those keys are like usually just always in the same area, and so you don't have to like spend cognitive resources on that, or in this case with the phone, willpower. Okay, the first one is just putting your phone in another room. So I know this is an example of something that sounds stupid, but there are actually so many studies on this that show up. My phone right now is literally sitting face down beside me. Studies show a phone face down beside you that's silent has cognitive brain drain. If you can see
totally.
your phone, in studies, people who can see a phone, their cognitive capacity is lower than people who don't have a phone in their vision at all. Because your brain is actually allocating resources to monitoring it, so to see like, is it gonna buzz, is it gonna whatever, like maybe I check it, and also fighting the urge to actually like pick it up.
And you know it's there.
And sometimes I notice like I'll have my phone beside me, and if I really know I need to work hard, sometimes I literally just put it under a book, or like if I'm sitting on the bed or something, I'll put it behind a pillow, or and even that is probably not as good as another room, but it actually works because your brain kind of forgets. But if you're just typing away and you can see your phone there, it's like even before it's conscious, your body is acknowledging that thing there.
Wait,
so
how do you get texting off of your iMac?
I'm not sure. Why?
Like that's like a new annoying thing. Like if I put my phone in my other room, because I finally got my first iMac. Okay, wow, they're actually good computers.
that you're calling them an iMac.
Wait, what are they called?
A MacBook.
A MacBook. But then I'm like, now my fucking text is on my computer.
So see, that's interesting because
Can you delete that?
I'm sure you can.
I'm doing it right now.
But I am famously a really bad texter, and so to me that's not like an addiction thing. Right? I think because you text so much, maybe you feel like that pulls you. Texting does not. I never waste time texting.
But like if I'm sitting in front of my Google Doc trying to work on this podcast, then it's like,
You're
or
I
I
could
could
as well just check my.
And now my texts are psychotic to my friends. They're like 3 paragraphs long because I'm literally typing with a full keyboard. I'm like,
yeah.
And I kind of am like,
I see what you're saying. That it's like having your phone in your peripheral, where you're like, well, I could just hit that.
I'd rather text my friend about the new Rosalia album being an absolute 10 out of 10 than do this. And it's like, I know that some of my research is going to be about how that is probably the most positive thing you could be doing, like talking to someone like a friend. But still, it's a distraction that I never had to deal with before. It's like a Mac product thing. I think I just delete the app, to be honest.
Sure
I just Googled it.
Hopefully.
So that's not that hard. But it's interesting to think about. It's like putting your phone in the other room. We have so many other distractions, iPads,
right?
computers.
It's not just the phone. Like, and now I think MacBooks can, as long as your phone is within the vicinity, then it has an app that can be your phone. Like
I hate that.
I have not used it, but That's really bad. It
Stop
does not
doing
help.
shit like that.
Yeah, it doesn't help the fact that you want to have your phone in another room, and then if you're on your computer, it's still with you.
So your like laptop can just become your phone out of nowhere.
Yeah. Speaking of that environmental, so like putting your phone in another room, right? Because half the time you're just like, half the time at night, I know I said this, I'm too lazy to go to bed because it's upstairs, and so I just go on my phone. But if my phone's not there, I probably would just get up and go. You know what I mean?
I don't know if we're gonna like fight on this podcast or if we need to talk about this freaking phone in the lockbox thing. But it's like been a big part of our...
talk about that. That's gonna be one of my things. Don't worry.
Oh my god.
But in tandem with the like put it in another room, because obviously that requires initial willpower, which is the disadvantage. The other thing, there's a technique called the phone foyer method. It's
foyer?
Like like a foyer of a house, like where you enter your home. Having either somewhere right when you enter that you plug your phone in and your phone lives there, or like somewhere else in your house that is like basically turning your phone into a landline by plugging it in and saying, this is where I keep my phone, and it should not be beside a bed or couch or somewhere comfortable.
This is where we invented the other week.
Yeah, like, but no, that was more of a crazy invention where we were like,
not.
It turns your power on.
I also looked up brick. It's kind of our invention a little bit. It's like a physical thing that you put your phone into, like the way that it can kind of charge from behind on like an Apple thing. But when you do, it locks all your apps. And then you have to scan, you have to do something intentional to open all the apps back. And you set it for time. So it's kind of like locking your phone in a lockbox like I do, but you can access it, but you have to do something to get it back. But when you put it on, it goes, and it locks all your apps.
But then, and I see it's like a quick way to like,
so you could put your brick in your foyer and you could be really doing that. But I really do think this is genius. You have something attached to your wall that you put your phone in and it locks it screen forward. So boom, phone goes in, screen forward, locked. You literally cannot access it, but you can go on your phone standing up and do things that you need to do intentionally, like
that's
text
what I
your
mean.
mom.
Yeah, I think like people, including myself, like you have the lockbox. Like for me, it's more scary to lock my phone away versus if I still had access, and it can work with a cord as well, but obviously the cord version you can just take off.
I'm here to tell you need no fear.
Yeah, I know.
You can text on your laptop.
Anyway, if you don't, you don't have some way to lock your phone to your wall. At the very least, try and
leave it there.
The foyer
Yeah,
method,
smart.
or it's called the
really
phone
smart.
foyer method, is like because you're probably most likely entering and exiting your house on a regular basis. This is a way to like habit stack. Like you enter, it goes. You leave, you
or like think about like opening a condo. There's always like the put your keys. It's like you just have a cord attached to that little thing. You can pick them up at CB2 or IKEA, like a key hanger, and then you just have your little cord. You plug it in, you put it there. It stays there.
Yeah. And then that makes it less likely, like you can go use it whenever, but now you're standing there instead of just like comfortably sitting on your couch or your bed.
Oh my God. Just think about how quickly you like go to like start making dinner. Like I'm bored and you just go grab it.
I know.
It's just like crazy. I'm just like picturing immediately being like, aw, cute idea. I listened to Sidenote. That was such a good idea. And then you're just like, and then all of a sudden you're on it again and just like jerking off, making a chicken salad.
Myself. Okay. Whoa. I know. That's why I think some of these feel corny because you're like, it's not going to work, but I think it's that it is like the repetitive nature. If you can just keep trying in those moments, then on average, like the next one's really interesting because I thought it would be cheesy, but the results from the studies are really interesting. Grayscale mode on your phone. I've always been like, I've never done that.
Sicko mode, go grayscale mode. I've seen that on the subway.
And I sort of feel like, does that work? But
for sure.
There's a research study that found university students in the study who were put in the cohort where they had to have it on grayscale mode use their phones 37.9 minutes less each day.
Think about how much more boring everything is.
That's a lot.
Like truly, like if you're like, okay, I'm like scrolling fucking reels because I'm a boomer like that. I'm reeling, and it's grayscale, boring. Truly, like I actually can imagine like now like the person doing a salsa dance to Rosalia's new album. You're like, well, it looks like from its 1920 and I don't care.
Yeah, I think like lots of even the way apps are physically designed like have really saturated bright colors. Like it's all very visually stimulating.
I was just thinking, another version of that is making it all mute. And then I was like, that is crazy. Like of course that's gonna work.
Yeah, because you're like not getting any of the information.
But it's like, that's interesting. I'd rather maybe not use my phone than use a mute one with only subtitles.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Okay, so obviously Grayscale first. Next one up from that is
Yeah,
no
because
volume.
Grayscale is just a button and volume. Like, I just thought, oh, that's kind of like I've never done that because I don't want my phone to be in Grayscale. But then I had a moment like, oh, the studies actually show, especially even students in this case are using it.
And
less,
no
like,
shit, you don't want your phone in Grayscale because then it's boring.
Exactly.
So it's smart. Okay, I'm going to go into one of the things because this all has to do with habits, which is mainly the research that I was looking at. And it really stuck with me as I'm starting to get like a bit better at the gym and like creating habits. You're like, whoa. So essentially, it goes back to the same guy who was talking about how we shouldn't think of it through an addiction framework and that we have autonomy, but we need to think of the fact that as humans, we are habitual. We love habits. It's a huge part of our evolution. It's like a big thing that we strive for and can be a huge part of how we spend our time. And I was like, and so a lot of us likely have habits around our phone that we're not aware of. Like we just check it in the morning, check it at night, check it every 15 minutes. Like
it doesn't feel like a habit, but it ends up being
they are
the same thing.
Or even
day,
like what I just said, like you come in, it's dinner. You're like, okay, fun. Well, it has to cook for 20 minutes. So I'm going to go on my phone. Like these things become habits and you don't have any intention around them. And so one of the first things that he said that you should do is he's like, I know it takes effort, but for the next week, think every time you pick up your phone, think, why did you do that? Like, what was the habit? What was the reason? Like, was it because you thought you were bored? Like, what is, and I started doing it this week and it was really interesting. You're like, whoa.
Yeah,
it's
like,
because,
was there actually an intention or you just needed to like...
No, it was like, I actually sat down literally to do like the research for this video. So like, okay, the habit is I sit down at my computer to do work and then I go, okay, well, I'll just check my phone one last time. Like it's just a habit. Like, cause you're like, okay, well, I'm going into work. I need it. And okay, so why? It's cause it's something that you have to do that maybe isn't as stimulating than checking your phone.
Or as hard. And you're like trying to almost put it off a little bit.
Yes. And then they were like, he said, don't be critical. Like you can have positive and negative habits around your phone. For example, negative habit, checking your phone in your car when you're driving to see what's happening on Instagram. It's like, that is a bad habit. Like if anyone's if anyone's finding that they're checking their phone while driving, like bad.
Reminds me of someone not driving a car, but
biking.
Else.
Yeah. You're talking about me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't actually do it while biking anymore because I flew off my handlebars.
Yeah, lesson learned.
Defying gravity. Flying off the handle. Me on my phone biking. Okay, so yeah, that would be considered a bad habit. And actually the way I stop at a stop sign and just whip my phone out, like that's a bad habit. Okay, Greg. A good habit, it's nighttime, you're feeling lonely, and so you go get your phone because you want to text some friends in order to see what's up. That's a positive habit.
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, like you can grab your phone sometimes and be like, no, I was texting my mom.
Yeah.
Like
intention. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
I think
when
that
you're reaching,
goes back to the intention of things. It's
yes.
like even if you were like, I want to check the weather. Like I've come to my phone for that.
Yeah.
Versus like I'm literally just getting it because I guess I was like anxious or bored or just didn't know what else to do.
Yeah. And then one other thing he said, and then we can go back to yours because I just have more study stuff, was like every time you're called out for using your phone by someone, to stop and really think like what he's like, because that's how you're going to learn. What was the reason for it? What was the intention? And like, what was the habit there? And then you like decide, because he's like, sometimes you might be like, no, I'm actually texting a friend and I just really want to understand what's happening later tonight before I give you my attention. Like, but then also being like, no, that was me trying to, maybe I was anxious or something like that. Just the idea of like every time you go for your phone for the next 4 or 5 days, think like why did you do it?
Yeah.
And don't just think it's always bad, because it could be good.
This is like in my mindfulness section. That is one of the same tips.
Yeah.
Like, by doing that, it also is like you can still be like, yeah, I wanted to do that. It's not saying you need to stop the action. It's just actually clocking why you did it.
Yeah, like if you're like, oh, I'm actually was grabbing my phone because I needed to donate to the local food bank.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be like, okay, ding, 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 positive.
That the one thing I find challenging is that sometimes I go to my phone for an intention and then get sucked in. So that's the bigger risk for me is like, of course, a lot of times I mindlessly use my phone, but sometimes I'm like, I want to know the weather. And then I pick it up and I see a text and now I've forgotten I even came to check the weather. And I'm just like sucked into like emails and that sort of stuff.
That's a whole other,
that's a challenge. Okay, you're gonna love my next one because
Why?
you're always trying to like make me do this, but it's having an accountability pact with another person.
See, yeah, this is why I would love a partner who thought this would be exciting to hold accountability together.
No.
Want to lock our phones together? No thanks, Greg.
Okay, because we have to come to some like middle ground.
We did. Okay, whoa, I'm yelling.
That we both feel comfortable with. But obviously the science behind this, like there's something called supportive accountability model. Like people are more likely to stick to their plans or word if there's someone else they're accountable to. And
Yeah.
you know this, like if you work, like we work for ourselves. It can be really hard and we don't want to be each other's parents or bosses.
Which we
But
end up being.
if you have a boss at work,
Yeah.
you're accountable to them. And so it does motivate you to like get your stuff down on time and
Yeah.
have dates.
So if you're wondering why there's not very many ASAP Science videos or why we never do socials for this podcast and why we'd love if you could share it is because we are incapable of doing anything because no one holds us accountable.
Truly.
Please share this podcast with friends and family if you
'Cause
think they
we
could benefit
won't.
from it because we won't, and we just stop doing social media, which I guess is good for this episode. Continue.
Okay, so those were like, I mean, that one.
Okay, so I want to talk about us as a relationship, and please, everyone, asapscience.com/chat. You can tell, you can literally chime in on our actual dichotomy of relationship. So we have this lockbox. I'm looking at it right now. It's a gorgeous little plastic thing. Never thought I'd say how much I love a plastic contraption, but here we go. We're talking $8.99. You put your phone in it. There's little sections. You can have your charger there. There it is. I usually am setting it for 12, 13 hours. And so that sounds like a lot, but it's like because I'm sleeping. And boy, can I sleep. So you put it in for me around like 8, 9 p.m. 12, 13 hours later, you get it back, 9, 10 a.m. This is an incredible, I'm telling you, this is the only thing that has worked for me probably the last 2 or 3 years. You can attest to it. It's the way you will solve any phone in bed / phone first thing in the morning, which I have a lot of research here. We can talk about it, is some of the worst parts of. So it's the morning and it's the night. This can be solved for you. I am telling you, look up phone lock, look up plastic phone lock, Google phone lock. It's so easy. It is the only thing. I am absolutely addicted to my phone. I am brain rot, Oxford Word Dictionary to all hell. But this thing has worked for me. And it continue. It's become such a habit. I do it every night that it's not even, I don't think about it. I am asking Mitchell, Ryan Moffat, sitting right here, to put it in with me because then there's this sort of like camaraderie, and he just won't. He just won't put it in with me.
That's
all I'm here to say.
It's not that I won't.
You haven't.
Okay. Okay.
So what is
First
the
of
reason?
all-
Why not?
Okay. I know some people recently have been talking about us bickering on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
That
We love
we're
to
about
bicker.
to.
We bicker
That's
and we
what
make
makes
up.
our science pod
After
unique.
every podcast, we go and have sex in another room and make up.
Okay, no, I want to do that, and I want to come to some consistent agreement around the exact time it goes in and comes out, and I think that will help me. Like, I think the large time frame always gave me anxiety. That like, and I am more anxious, so like I'm always nervous. Something's gonna come up the second that I put it in. I know you're gonna have something to say to that. I know it's not always valid. I know it's just my own fear of like locking it away.
But you have your phone text on your
Yeah,
computer.
it's true. It is true.
That's what
I do want to do that actually.
So what about 9 to 9 tonight?
Yeah, I think it's picking like creating a
9 to
structure
9.
around it, so it's not just like you asking me off the cuff, will you do it with me, and me being like, I need it to be something that I can anticipate for tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like ahead of time, so I have the day to mentally prepare and know. Like sometimes, like I like on Tuesdays, I'm like going to Spanish till 8:30, and I'm like, okay, but so if you're locking out at 8, like I
No,
have
9
wait
to
till I'm
9.
home. Yeah. But sometimes I'm like on Wednesdays I'm watching Survivor with friends, and so it's like figuring out. I need to personally, as a more anxious person, like work through those logistics of how to create a structure that does end up working for like the different days where sometimes I have less flexibility.
Okay, well, anyways, I'm opening this up to anyone else out there who wants to do 9 to 9 with me. We can have a little text off and say, okay, we're locking it away.
Yeah, I do want to do it. I do
And you have
actually
to
wanna
buy
do
an
it,
alarm
yeah.
clock is another thing that I read about. You need an alarm
Like a
clock.
separate-
Everyone
yeah.
needs an alarm clock because
That's not your
that's
phone.
what allows you to put your phone away with confidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so now go to your cognitive tools.
Okay, cognitive tools. So and again, I'm going to reference, and we'll link to all these studies. These are all based on like specific studies that have come out on these. So the first is called if/then planning. Okay?
If then?
If then. Yeah. And this is like a tool that has been used in like other kinds of addiction and stuff. So you need to know what you're going to do when you are bored and not decide in the moment. So like you basically need to have a plan. If I am bored, then I do this. And that could be read a book. That could be literally like play with a Rubik's Cube for those 2 minutes at your desk so that you're not, sometimes it is just the anxiety that makes you pick up your phone. But like you said, sometimes it's like the end of the day. I don't know. Do I want to watch a show? Do I want to read a book? I'll just sit down on my phone.
Yeah.
So research has found that goal intentions, like just saying I want to scroll less, I want to use my phone less, is not very effective. But implementation techniques like if X happens, then I will do Y are much stronger.
Yeah.
So like I said, if you feel bored, you need to have your backup. And maybe it is just like I have a Kindle. If I'm feeling bored, I'm going to go and read like for 5 minutes on my Kindle or something else. Or if it's like I'm waiting for 20 minutes because I am waiting for like the stew to finish on or something in the oven to finish, then I'll go do this. And they find that way more effective because you have a plan in place before you get there.
Yeah.
So that requires like work ahead of time, obviously. But I think
a magazine or a book is smart because it's kind of fun rather than be like, if this, I'll go clean or something.
Yeah. And it's probably worthwhile. Yeah, picking something that's like not low effort for you, but not like, like now I have to clean. Exactly. If you don't like cleaning and now you've just said I'm bored and I'm going to clean, that's even more boring. Like
if I'm bored, I'm going to press replay on Rosalia's Lux for the 17,000th
But honestly,
time.
yeah, sit down. Well, I guess then it's like you have to have your computer.
And I'm also listening to Lux at all times. That is never going to be it.
We need to go buy that record so we can just like put the record player on.
Yeah.
We're going back to analog. Okay.
But giving yourself something that's really smart.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how much of my things are like put on a podcast. Okay, my phone. But I guess it doesn't have to be. It could be
that is one of
like,
the biggest challenges is that your phone has all the things you need. Half the time I'm like, I just want a calculator and I'm using my phone because I wanted to just like randomly calculate some number.
Or even read. It's like, it's an audiobook.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, exactly. Like all my podcasts are there. It's a perfect example of like, I need my phone. So I think like in that case, analoging your life or finding separate devices, like this is not one of my studied things, but in the same way we're having an alarm clock, even if it's still digital, that's not your phone, is probably really useful. Because a lot of like, I used to like love tracking my steps and sometimes that was my excuse for taking my phone on walks.
That's so bad. Yeah.
But now
so
I'm
annoying.
like, I don't care about it as much anymore.
Yeah.
It's easier to go on a walk without it. But I felt really like, no, but I'm like, I like tracking my steps like at the time, but then I have my phone all the time.
Know what are horrible? And I'm sorry to all the like tech bros who actually, wow, what a sentence. Sorry to the tech bros. I'm not sorry. Apple Watches.
Yeah.
Those seem like horrible. First of all, ugly. No offense. Wow. Just alienating everyone. Second of all, like I see my friends look at their Apple Watch when they get texts and stuff. I'm like, that's not good. Like it's pulling them away on their wrist. It's like they figured out a way to like
even less of a barrier.
Swing their phone around their wrist at all times. Yeah. I don't exactly know the intention. I've never had one, so maybe there's something great about them. I think it's a bit of the walking, like count my steps.
People want to like biometric themselves.
But that's to me not good. Also, another thing I'll say, I'm like literally getting more jacked because I've done this for 3 to 4 months. Okay, so I obviously have an extreme amount of privilege. We're talking white privilege. We're talking male privilege. I could keep going. I have 2 phones. I have my Apple phone, Google. I also have my Google phone. So my Google phone, I don't download any apps on, and it's my gym phone. So I download on Spotify podcasts. I download songs, and I very sadly sometimes literally go to the Google homepage and like scroll the news. But that aside, I need to stop.
That's better. Like at least you're trying to like engage with something.
But the key there is not texting. Like the amount of texts my friends would get while I was out there. Like I barely worked out. I would just sit there because that's another issue is if you're at the gym, it's really easy to get distracted because it's hard to lift a weight. It's like, well, I don't want to lift that weight. Maybe I'll just, then I'd end up in these really deep conversations with people, smiling, gigging.
Really deep conversations.
Like truly,
At the gym?
I'm not, yes, I would always
I've never
use
seen that
the
happen.
fact that I was at the gym and didn't want to work out to be like, so what do you think about like life after death to like a random friend? And then they would like,
to a
I'm not
friend,
kidding.
okay.
Like it would be, I guess I'd get deep conversations, but that's completely changed everything. And then after I am done, I do the Stairmaster, and on the Stairmaster is the only time I download Instagram, TikTok, and I go on the Stairmaster and use them.
I mean,
and then
I
as
think-
soon as I'm done Stairmaster, delete them.
I think if you do cardio at a gym, that is a good time to allow yourself to do those things. And then to like link them. Like if you want to be scrolling or watching, even though watching a show that you feel is like, well, a waste of time, but you still want to watch it. Like to me, those are perfect moments to be like, then it's stacked with something that you feel good about. You know, like that you're happy that you're like doing cardio and you're watching a show or you're scrolling TikTok.
And that Stairmaster time will go by after you haven't had your phone for a while and you get to download TikTok.
I want to think about that again. Like what shows do I want to watch, but I feel like I don't want to like, I don't know. Or maybe it is TikTok. But
anyway, so that was just like burner phone gym was a big one for me because I just would go on my phone and barely worked out. And now I work out so much more because I'm at the gym with no phone. Okay.
Okay. Another one is notification batching. So similar to how you were like having times to lock your phone away, the science shows that if you decide these are the windows when I actually use my phone, and maybe it is like at the gym is when I do this, but with notifications specifically, research finds that just turning off your notifications, it does reduce distractions, but it doesn't reduce screen time because you compensate by self-interrupting more frequently.
Wait, what?
Okay, so if you like silent your phone and don't check notifications, then you are more likely to check your phone more often.
Because you're like, well, what if there's so many people
you're not being
telling me how cool I am?
But then you're more likely to self-interrupt. So the research shows that creating predictable windows when your brain knows you're allowed now, right? Like maybe it's 10 a.m. in the morning and then 4 p.m. in the afternoon and then 9 p.m. before you lock your phone away. These are my windows when I can either not binge, but like use my phone in a way where I'm catching up on everything, looking at everything, and I have a half-hour window, and then I put it back down in my bedroom or put it back down in my foyer or whatever.
Okay.
So
I see the logic.
Another one, movement over media. Going back to boredom, studies show that actually reducing boredom, like movement does that, whereas cell phones don't. So just like people who go on walks, it's like a way more positive mood effect, whereas smartphone use increases boredom. And then the last cognitive one is kind of similar to what you said earlier, but it's called permission thoughts, like noticing permission thoughts. And this is a cognitive behavioral therapy strategy. Okay. So like they might teach you this in therapy. Basically, it's like when you use your phone, your brain is often giving you an excuse. Right, it's often saying, I just need to check that one email, or like I just need to like go. I just want to check the weather. Like what's the weather today? Your brain comes up with an excuse to justify why you're doing it, and so it's just saying like stop yourself in the moment. That justification might also be like I deserve a break, but it's like to stop yourself in the moment and label this as a permission thought rather than a fact, and that can actually help you to realize like it's not
like
that
you're just giving yourself permission.
And
you don't deserve a break. You only work for 15 minutes.
Maybe that's true, or maybe it's like I don't actually want to check the weather. I was just like giving myself permission.
I check the weather every like 20 minutes.
Exactly. So that's noticing permission thoughts. Again, a lot of these it's like you can then go on to do it, but just even like clocking it, studies show creates like a sort of cognitive dissonance where you're less likely to then like react on the impulse.
Okay, true. There's a lot of that. It's about like, what are you going to your phone for? Okay,
now,
tell us the mindfulness one.
Okay, 2 final strategies in the mindfulness. One is really similar to yours. I know a couple of mine have been, but first I'll start with urge surfing. You've probably heard about this. Again, often used in addiction work. Recognizing that like urges come up, and I've talked about this a lot in my own therapy.
Surfing your urge.
Yeah, knowing that it can probably depend on what kind of urge it is, but like, you know, even the urge to like be really hungry or even the urge to like use a substance, when you have it really in you, sometimes those urges can go away in like 20 to 30 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just surfing that urge is what they say.
Ooh,
right?
and like
riding that
that's
wave.
a positive. How do you surf an urge?
So the way they suggest you do it is like, okay, you feel the urge to check your phone.
Yeah.
Now locate in you physically that sensation in your body.
Oh, that's so therapy. Love
yeah.
that.
It's like, is it
feeling it in my toes?
Yeah, is your chest tight, or are your fingers like looking for something to do and itching to do something? And the whole point is that you're like watching the sensation without judging it. That's the sort of like mindfulness part. It's like it's okay that you're having it.
Yeah.
Just like sit with the sensation and remind yourself,
Surf that urge.
this is not necessarily who you are. You're just like having an emotion or a feeling right
Cool.
now, and
Yeah.
you can surf that. And then my final technique.
Wait, that's all the tips for surfing an urge?
Oh, let's see, what else did I write? I think it's just remembering that urges come and go.
Damn it! You know when you just want like someone to
More on
say
that?
like it's like okay, so
We can
you
find
say
more, right?
where it is in your body, and you're just like you're surfing an urge, Greg.
Well, just try practicing like I'm bored. Okay, I'm bored and I want to go use my phone.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
what else can you
actually
do?
stop and think about
Okay, fair.
what I want or what I feel, or like
Yeah.
what's my motivation right now. It's just like literally taking that extra bit of time to like pause and not just go straight for it.
Got it.
Which I think these are, to me, these are the harder strategies.
Yeah, it's
When
so
you're-
easy to say.
Yeah, and then in the moment you're like, yeah, but the urge
You're like,
is so
shut up!
strong.
This isn't an urge. This is that I need to know.
Yeah, exactly. So I understand these are the harder ones. The last one's called the stop technique. So when you have an urge, again, stop, S, stop and pause, whatever you're doing. T, take a breath. Okay. So take a moment of deep breathing to engage your parasympathetic nervous system. O, observe what you're feeling. Again, I'm feeling anxious about this
Okay, so
email.
you stop.
Like you notice you're having this urge. Stop, take a breath.
T. What's the T, girl? Take a breath. O. Observe.
Observe what you're feeling. So you're feeling, oh my God, I'm anxious. I just got this email
Yeah.
and I want to distract myself with TikTok, or I just like want to alleviate that.
Okay.
P, process, make a conscious choice. You can still check your phone, but now
Yes.
it's intentionally, not automatically. So I think this is like,
And just love how everyone gets to pee. They're like, and yes, I want to.
I
go on
deserve
TikTok.
to use
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Again, I find the mindfulness ones like the hardest in the moment, but I think you're mainly trying to like break those intense cycles that are really hard to deconstruct when we've all conditioned ourselves to use our phones. That's why to me the environmental is almost the most effective, because
Yeah.
it's like, if it's in another room, then you actually have time to be like, I have to walk there. I can stop and think about what I'm doing versus
And I think you have to have autonomy and realize like you have to do it yourself. Like you have to do it. There's so many freaking apps. Even Brick, the website, I was like, oh God, whatever. And then there's this app that I read a study on that worked for people to decrease their screen time by like 3 hours a week.
Oh.
Called One Sec, where it actually every time you open an app, you have to like audibly sigh or breathe and be like, and then it
order
opens
to-
because it's like making you pause before the app, and I'm just like, ew, shut up. Like, but then I'm like, okay, whatever. There was a study on it. I just feel like there's other things that you can do yourself first before you literally go to an app or pay money. And
Yeah, I don't think you need to pay money.
Yeah.
There might be free apps, but it is a hard thing. And it's interesting that you said like and I'm saying this as someone who still is so addicted to my phone and struggles, and I have to remind myself all the time. It's just like, I often feel bad and don't like the feeling of what I just did with my phone. And B, I am the only one who can solve it. I know it's a worldwide problem, and like you said, we can all blame these companies, and they share some
but
of
it
the
takes
blame.
away your autonomy of like what you can do yourself.
And I think I'm not there with my phone or social media now, but I am more there with like fitness. I remember having the same problem for years and years. I wanted to like become more regularly active.
Then it became a habit.
Yeah. And now it's actually like, I feel worse if I don't do it. And I actually really like doing it. And that took me having like some severe back issues, which helped me build a habit. So I needed like a trainer or someone else to be my accountability partner to finally get me in a good habit of that. So that's why the phone's so hard. It is. We're all so like insular, even though we're all connected with them, like we're all experiencing it so on our own.
Can you go back through them all one more time for me?
Every single thing.
Or just like quickly.
Okay. Okay, fine.
recap.
Like a little top 10
Environmental design.
list. Okay, so like
Phone
put your
out
phone
of
in another room.
The room. Out of the room when you're doing work. Out of the room.
Just have another place your phone goes. The phone foyer method. When you enter your house, put it somewhere there, plug it in, and you must
Boom.
only use your phone there.
Gone.
Grayscale mode. Turn your phone on grayscale.
Wow, that's another one.
And accountability pact. Having a person to do something with.
For the grayscale mode, is that just a thing on your phone you can just hit?
I'm pretty sure iPhones and probably most Androids have like just a grayscale mode that you can use. Okay. Cognitive tools. If then planning.
Oh yeah.
If I'm bored, then I
will read a book. Done.
Notice your permission thoughts. I deserve a break. Or I'm just like, I want to check the weather. Notice them and acknowledge
It was a long day.
They're not necessarily facts. They're just like your brain coming up with reasons why you want to use your phone. Movement over media. If you are bored, getting up and moving around is more effective than using social media. And notification batching. Have the
only
times,
check at certain times.
Give yourself your windows. So, and I've talked about this with my therapist and maybe on this podcast about even like wanting to use weed less. And she's like, a lot of times it's the will I, won't I. And so now my rule is like, I'm only allowed on the weekends, once a weekend. And it stops me from being like, should I do it today? Like, am I going to do it later today?
Won't I? It's like all I ever do is just will I. Kidding.
But it's like the addiction can be to the
that's interesting.
deciding like I'm always stuck and I'm really indecisive, so I'm always stuck in like, oh, which phase, like what am I gonna do? And I think notification batching it's like stop asking yourself, will I, won't I use my phone? It's like, no, I use it at 5 p.m.
Yeah, I did give
I'm
myself
allowed it.
edibles only twice a week, and that is a version of the it makes the decision easier. Then by like Tuesday, I'm like, well, I did it Monday and Tuesday, so I guess I can't do it right on the week.
Yep. And then it was the mindfulness stuff. So urge surfing, taking a minute to like sit with your urges and know that they usually pass. And then the stop technique. Stop, take a breath, observe what you're feeling, and process and make.
And the last thing I'll say, don't drink alcohol. As someone who was hungover yesterday, like that is so crazy what a hangover can do. Inability to have any willpower. I was on my phone. Okay, there's also this thing that like I've never fully gotten into, but I can like sometimes hear people talk about it. I'm like, that sounds juicy, but clearly it's not. The idea of like rotting on the couch and like having your phone and watching a stupid show and like double screen. There's like something about that.
What do you mean you don't get that?
Like when
I do that all the time.
No, when I'm not hungover, my body is not ever like, I'm not like.
Yeah, you've been designed to move. Like you have the
I
natural
don't find
urge
that
to be
juicy.
doing
I'm like,
something.
that is like.
Whereas I, on the other hand. Oh my God.
There's like a part of me that wishes I almost did, which obviously I know we just did this whole episode and there's like literature. It's like, that's obviously I feel grateful that that's not something I want to do. But when I'm hungover is the time where my body can tap in because it's physically, it's like
exhausted.
I like have my phone out, like Housewives is on, and I'm just like, there's food ordered in front of me, and I just like hear sometimes people being like, that's the deepest joy. And I'm like, in those moments, I'm like, this is really like.
It can be satisfying.
Yeah,
you know
like gluttonous, or I don't know.
But I think the same thing goes. It's like, it's okay to couch rot once in a while, and you might be like, I'm allowed to do that, and I'm gonna do it on the first Sunday of every month. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
no, what's interesting, I haven't been drinking very much, and I felt so awful yesterday. I was so hungover. We had this Saturday full day drag competition from 11 till 11
for a friend's birthday. It was like a full
like in a
drag
house,
race
20 people, full camp. Drinking in a way where it's like, okay, well, you start with that mimosa, let's go. And then all of a sudden it's kind of like you're not even thinking about it, you're just cracking beers all day. Anyways, I was so hungover and I did rot, as they say. It was like I was really leaning into the rot, and I felt so awful that I'm like, now I'm so don't want to. There is something about allowing yourself to go all the way to feel how bad it feels to then be like, snap out of it. I'm not saying this is real. It's just something like I finally rotted and I actually hated it.
Yeah.
Like I woke up this morning and was like, yesterday was
not a nice
disgusting.
feeling.
Like I don't want to drink. Like, you know what I mean? But maybe if I had like forced myself, which I might have done in the past with a hangover, to go to the gym and to like have a normal day and like, then I'm kind of like, oh, that's fine. I can keep going. Like it was so awful. And I felt like such a waste of time in my life that I'm like, yeah, I can see why pushing that could somehow get you past it in a weird way.
Maybe we'll see how long that lasts.
You cut to me like rotting like tomorrow.
Yeah, or like drinking again.
Yeah. My point of this was just that like hangovers can obviously decrease your ability to like be mindful or to like be better with your phone.
Have willpower.
Or I guess even lack of sleep or like so many other versions of that.
I hope this has been useful. I feel like I am going to try and implement some of these techniques. And again, it's like
Let's
the
lock it away.
constant failure, but coming back to it and just knowing like you got to just keep repeating and creating.
Want to
those
lock it away
habits.
tonight, babe?
Yeah, I'll do it if you want. I will.
Wow. I'm like literally turned on. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening.
And share this with people because, you're not going to see us on TikTok because we're incapable.
Thanks for listening. Yeah, you could leave a review on whatever wherever you're listening, whether that's
we read them on Spotify, YouTube,
leave
Apple,
some comments.
all of them.
We'll upload it to YouTube. So yeah, we appreciate all.
Do
your
that when
support.
you're doing your little like
whenever you have a
notification binge and then put it away.
Whenever you're bored, be like, what can I do for the side note?
Oh, we could just like promote it and send it to my friends.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure.
I just opened my phone. Okay.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.